The 2024 Formula One Australian Grand Prix concluded with an unexpected twist, which has not often been the case in Formula One, at least in the last 2 seasons, and most importantly, with some amazing post-race celebrations for the Ferrari fans thanks to the well-deserved 1-2 finish secured by Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc at the 5.278-kilometer Albert Park circuit in Melbourne on Sunday. Despite drivers and teams being in good form, sometimes unforeseen events can lurk around every corner and make the race more interesting, as this weekend's Australian Grand Prix has demonstrated. While all eyes are understandably on Max Verstappen's retirement due to technical issues, the double DNF for Mercedes also makes quite a statement. A technical problem affected the W15 car of Lewis Hamilton, and another mistake was made by his Mercedes teammate George Russell, which was however attributed by the FIA to Fernando Alonso, further shook up the overall results. Regarding the incident which took place on the final lap of the race, Fernando Alonso claimed to have braked earlier at turn 6 in order to gain speed on the exit of the corner and therefore defend his 6th position. However, George Russell stated he was caught off guard by such a dangerous maneuver, leading to the mistake that sent him heavily crashing into the wall. After examining the footage, the race stewards deemed the Spaniard was indeed at fault, handing him a drive-through penalty, ultimately costing him 20 seconds in race time, plus 3 penalty points on his super license, totaling 3 in the last 12 months. Despite the fact that Fernando Alonso's race was marred by this incident, which dropped him to 8th behind Yuki Tsunoda, the outcome does not diminish his excellent strategy performance today. Moving on to strategy, we recall how ahead of the race we highlighted the potential for some drivers to complete the race with a one-stop strategy despite using softer compounds compared to last year. However, on Sunday the track conditions proved otherwise. At the Albert Park circuit, all drivers used a 2-stop strategy, with only Esteban Ocon opting for a 3-stop strategy, medium, hard, 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 using the same set of tires in the final stint as in the second, finishing last behind Valtteri Bottas and Zhou Guanyu. Pierre Gasly, despite a 5-second penalty for crossing the white line at the pit lane exit, managed to finish ahead of the 2 Alfa Romeo cars in P13. We can categorize the strategies seen in the Australian Grand Prix into 4 groups. Firstly, medium, hard, hard, adopted by most drivers, including Carlos Sainz, Charles Leclerc, Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, Sergio Perez, Lance Stroll, Yuki Tsunoda, Kevin Magnussen, Alex Albon, Pierre Gasly, and Valtteri Bottas. Then we have the hard, medium, hard, which was used best by Fernando Alonso and Nico Hülkenberg. There was also the soft, hard, hard strategy, which was executed by Daniel Ricciardo and Zhou Guanyu. As mentioned, the only one to use a medium, hard, hard, hard strategy was Esteban Ocon. The race was marked by the retirements of Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, and George Russell. But what was the best tire strategy seen in Melbourne on Sunday? Those paying attention know we've already answered this question. However, let's create some uncertainty in this regard. There are 2 more things to note. Firstly, we made another error yesterday, but it was a collective mistake, meaning it was made by many others. With the threat of graining, diminished by track temperatures nearing 40 degrees C, expected for the race, many believed the undercut would be very powerful at the Albert Park circuit. It actually wasn't. Quite the opposite. The overcut provided more advantages to the drivers. Among the few to execute a successful undercut were Charles Leclerc and Oscar Piastri, gaining positions over Lando Norris near the first pit stop. Perhaps McLaren thought extending the first stint on medium C4 tires would provide an advantage with fresher hard C3 tires later in the race. But that wasn't the case. Lando Norris paid the price for spending too long on the mediums, which suffered from significant graining. Crucial were the laps between the 12th and 14th of the race. Lando Norris on C4 tires set times around 1.22 high, 1.23 low, while Charles Leclerc, after warming up the C3 tires, managed to maintain 1.21 high or 1.22 inches low. Carlos Sainz, on the other hand, built his victory during this period. With clear track ahead, the Ferrari driver managed the medium C4 tires more judiciously. While others struggled with graining, he maintained 1.22 low times, thus retaining the lead. Considering the graining issues affecting most drivers in the first stint, the fastest strategy would likely have been the hard, medium, hard, used by Fernando Alonso and Nico Hülkenberg. The reason is simple. The Aston Martin and Haas driver had a significant advantage over their rivals, which they fully exploited in the first stint. With fewer graining problems, they could push harder in the early stages, stretch their stint, and when they switched to medium tires for the middle stint, the track had more rubber laid down, resulting in less graining compared to their competitors. The result? Fernando Alonso climbed from 11th at the start to 6th, later demoted to P8 for causing George Russell's incident, while Nico Hülkenberg did even better, finishing P9 from P16 on the starting grid. The Haas driver managed to gain 7 positions while the Spaniard 5. We should also consider retirements, but in the end, no one can take away their pride for a fantastic job today. For once, the best strategy isn't that of the race winner. In summary, starting with hard tires limited graining significantly, allowing Fernando Alonso and Nico Hülkenberg to use the overcut to pass those who suffered on mediums during the first stint. At 42, the two-time Formula One world champion continues to have a race vision that only a few others possess, delivering textbook performances. A shame about that incident on the final lap. Let's conclude with the key assessment made by Pirelli racing manager Mario Isola at the end of the Melbourne race. The Italian engineer pointed out that opting for a set of softer compounds this year proved to be a wise decision, making the Australian Grand Prix more dynamic than in the previous editions. Effective tire management, of course, played a crucial role. Ferrari's Carlos Sainz capitalized on the chance to lengthen his first stint on medium tires, which allowed the Spaniard to benefit from fresher hard tires in the latter 2 stints. Conversely, his Maranello teammate Charles Leclerc, despite being caught up in McLaren traffic, was able to overtake Lando Norris using an undercut and subsequently made superior use of the hard tires' performance, particularly at the start of his second stint, as explained by the Pirelli motorsport director. Graining consistently emerged as a key aspect throughout the Australian weekend, yet it didn't adversely affect tire performance. In the end, those who excelled in tire management were rewarded the most. Scuderia Ferrari therefore achieved the excellent results in the Australian Grand Prix also through a carefully considered and planned tire strategy, which was supported by the solid race pace shown by the Ferrari SF24 car, especially compared to the 2 McLaren cars of Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, as well as the Red Bull RB19 car of Sergio Perez. In addition to this, the Ferrari pit crew has confirmed the good performance in terms of pit stops times in this start of the 2024 Formula One season. The Maranello mechanics recorded the quickest pit stop of the opening race of the 2024 championship in Bahrain, switching Charles Leclerc from soft to hard tires in 2.23 seconds on lap 11. Once again, the Ferrari team members should be praised for the outstanding teamwork also for the Australian Grand Prix, with the second fastest pit stop time set by Ferrari at the Albert Park circuit, which allowed Charles Leclerc to return to the track ahead of Oscar Piastri and eventually gain second place after the first pit stop of Lando Norris.